I know it's not Christmas. I'm just wearing this shirt because it's green. Because today I'm talking about Subway. Now, if you watched a lot of my earlier videos right at the beginning of the channel, you notice I'm filming my car in a back lot. That's because that was at the Subway I worked at. I would record videos on my breaks. Though I don't remember reviewing many Subway items on my breaks, which was strange. But I decided I want to talk about some of my experiences at Subway. Now, everyone's experience is different, either being a customer or even like an employee there. The one I worked at is at a truck stop, so I had a lot of different experiences that some Subway people didn't have. Some of my friends actually do work at another Subways, had other experiences, which I find interesting. But I thought the month of Halloween, talk about some of my Subway horror stories, some Subway topical videos. So if you enjoy videos like this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. So let's actually get into the video.
Dark and haunted, these undaunted tales from the crypt.
Go just to go. Malad Merg, I actually like to have him on the channel. He talked a lot of experiences at Subway through fun ways making sandwiches. Please go check him out. Now, this article I got off of eatthisnotbad.com. I will link to the actual article in the description. Rule number 1 is, hi, welcome to Subway. You have to greet the guests as they come to the store. Now, this is an actual rule at mine. I had to do this a lot, and it was kind of frustrating. The rule at my store was, if there's a line of people, the cashier would do it. Generally, it's how we kind of did it. If there was 3 of us on the line, or even 2 of us on the line, which was most of the time, or just whoever was up there. If I was cleaning up there, I would do it. But if I was in the back running myself, I wouldn't rush up to the front. It wasn't even worth it. This is a rule. It is frustrating at times, especially if you have a rush. My dad, who would actually come in sometimes, and eat there. He didn't do it a whole lot. He did occasionally. He found it really frustrating. I did too, because like you're in the middle of a conversation and you have to do it, which we really didn't do. But it was still frustrating because people would do that. Actually, I had a coworker who was also really frustrated with this rule and a lot of the rules. He would say, "Hey, welcome to McDonald's." It was kind of funny, but also got kind of really annoying. It was, yeah. This is a rule. Rule number two was Subway employees must give you as many veggies as you want. Sadly, yeah, it's frustrating. Some people were really nice about it when they want extra veggies, so it was understandable. Because if you didn't know, on a Subway sandwich, I'm supposed to give 6 olives. But people want more than 6 olives. Like, it's frustrating. I had someone, one sandwich I made, get a whole bucket of lettuce. Now, one bucket of lettuce can make, I'd say, about 6 sandwiches if portioned correctly. Though sometimes one bucket of lettuce would make like 3 sandwiches. It all depends on who's doing the portions. Everyone's hand size is different, and how much lettuce or other products people want. It's a weird rule. It's frustrating sometimes, especially towards the end where they had it like I had to do a certain way. Like, I had a manager who was like, you gotta give them 6 olives. I'm like, okay, but they aren't gonna want 6 olives. That's a dumb rule. Like, she had me count them out, and it was the most frustrating thing. But I told her, I was like, no, it makes no freaking sense, because some people want more freaking olives. Which, she stopped caring about that. Rule number trace, items must be separated if asked by the guest. Yeah, I had some guests, they would eat it later in the day, so they'd have their veggies on the side of the sandwich, especially if they didn't want it interacting, or have like their mayo stuff like on the side. That one I actually get. I hated the way they did the sauces though, because they put it in cups. Even if you try putting a cup of sauce on a sandwich, it's frustrating as heck. We had sauce packets, but we only had light mayo and mustard and ketchup. I don't know why we had ketchup, because no one ever got ketchup on a sandwich. It was a frustrating rule. Not really frustrating, it's a given, something you do, but it was still annoying because some people just want veggies and then you charge them for a salad and they get really upset. It's like, well, I want veggies. I'm like, well, I'm going to charge you for it. Rule number 4, Subway meats must be heated in the microwave even if they're cold meats. No, this is not a rule, though it may depend on your manager. I've never heard of this. Like, if you want a turkey sandwich, some people want it cold. I was never told, hey, that has to be heated up, even if guest wants it cold. That is not a rule. I don't know, maybe it was at one point, but it was never on my store, and I never heard of this being a rule at any stores I've heard of different coworkers working at other stores. It's a weird rule. I don't understand it. I don't know where this is a rule, but it's a dumb rule. Rule number 5 has to do with managing spies and to do with banking. This was something we never had to deal with, at least that I don't know, because I had never had interaction with any of the money depositing. Just something I never heard of. So I really don't know how much to say on this rule, because it was something I was never really involved in and never really got to experience or see. Rule number 6. Employees must go under 5 days of training. Yeah, it sucks. I remember my first day, the computer stopped working, so I ended up working on the front line, which I think benefited me, and really how you should learn, not just learning on the computer, should be like on-hand learning, which they still do, but they do in a weird way, and it's frustrating as heck. Especially those videos aren't updated very often, and they are like 15-year-old videos. Like one of mine had like Bad Boys theme. Also, I worked at a truck stop, so I had additional training videos that I had to do besides the one that are on a subway. It's frustrating because there's training on store etiquette, store maintenance, dealing with customers, how to make sandwich, which really shouldn't be a video. You should just learn that on the job, online. It's very frustrating, and sometimes there will be additional videos they would add, and I hated them because they took forever. The internet did not work great. Yes, this is a rule, and it's frustrating. Subway really needed to update how they train people. It's because it really showed sometimes. Rule number 7, you have to make a pizza if they ask. No. Yes and no. So at my Subway, we stopped selling the pizzas, like, for a while. We didn't sell the pizzas. It was an item that just didn't sell at our store. In some places, they have different ways to do pizzas. Ours were just like the ones you heat up in the oven. Some of them have an actual like Mama DeLuca's like pizza bar next to the actual line. If they asked for a pizza, I told them I can make a little flatizza. I couldn't ring up pizzas. I can ring up flatizzas, but after that, for a while, I couldn't ring up flatizzas. So I told them I couldn't do either. So it really depends on your store and your manager. Some cheating got around it. I remember one day they actually misordered pizzas. Like they showed up at our store, so we divvied them up among the employees and took those home. Don't go to Subway expect that to happen. It really depends on which store you're at. Rule number 8 is something I brought up earlier. Is there is a limit to tomatoes and olives on a foot-long sandwich. You're supposed to give 6 tomatoes and I don't remember how many olives. I think it's 6 as well, which was frustrating as heck because some people wanted just 4 tomatoes, which was a given, and some people wanted more olives. And again, I had a manager who was weird about this because I would give the guest 4 tomatoes like they wanted, and the manager got crappy with me. They're like, well, you're supposed to give them 6. Like, well, they want 4. Some people aren't going to want 6 tomatoes on a sandwich. Maybe it was 4. I don't remember. It's been a while since I worked at Subway, so it was just frustrating, that one, because if you're a busy line, let's say you got 8 people, and there's 2 of you on the line, you're on the veggie side of the line, you do not have the time to count out 6 olives. You're just going to grab a pinch and move on. Especially on the veggie line, sometimes you do double duty, also doing register. It's frustrating, and yes, this is a rule, but it's really not that followed. Now, these are the rules I found. There were a couple others, but they kind of repeated themselves in other articles. So put down in the comments some weird rules you had at your Subway if you find this, because there are some weird ones, and I will get into those when I do some of my work horror stories, because working at a truck stop in a Subway, it got interesting some days. So stay tuned for that. I'll be doing 4 Subway themed videos all October, and if they do well, I will do more, because I'm sure I can scrounge up more topics to talk about. Subway is an interesting place to work. If you are 17 in your job, go work at a Subway. I wouldn't advise it if you're like 21 and you're working at a Subway. Go get a different job. But it's a great learning experience in the workforce. Its place and all stereotypes are true. So yeah, if you guys have a good rest of your day. Stay rooted, stay faithful. Have a good rest of your day.
Like, comment, subscribe, and become a Nathan.